Well, the devil can't scrap what the Lord has won. And I'll talk to him under rising suns. His sun rose in mine.
I won't lead you astray. Yeah, well, maybe I'll do that. You want to just do the play-by-play of all 7 innings in game number 1?
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Okay. I do that. I'll just do color and review.
Yeah, and then you only do a play-by-play.
I'll be on the whole.
Yeah,
Whole game too.
I'm okay with that for sure.
You didn't tell me Jurek was coming back. Oh. Bill has my name.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
You have, after you announce Abigail Harvey, she's
Yeah.
on our roster.
Yeah.
Could you add Dominic
Yeah.
Scarpello?
Yeah.
He's our backup.
Okay.
And I do have one last minute question. It's a Miles question.
Oh, great.
He'll go live at 45 probably officially, but it's
Okay. I generally like to start about 10 minutes ahead, so. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Hey, Bill, since baseball's playing Monday, Tuesday, that game against Dakota State pushed back a week or two, or? The following. That's kind of what I thought.
batting average? You say just 491 batting average, and
Yeah, unless it's like right on the like 300, or 300, we just don't say 20.
yeah, and then
ERA, you do say
2.37 ERA. So Carly, 6-5 on the year.
Well, I figured with baseball, I'll keep the baseball ones in that one separate so I don't run out. I didn't know exactly how many. I was too stupid to do it in the sheets. How many games? I figured I had something like 40 something. Oh, I thought it was like 20. Oh, really? If we need more, I go through It doesn't even really say, does it? Somebody has to. My
You
wife
got
is
it.
tired of giving me shit, so. Oh, okay, thank you. So it's you do the even numbered years, and she does the odds. Okay. She does the even. Yeah. She's gets to 24/7. You're just a supplemental. Yeah. I'm free of charge. Thank you. Tip of the cap. Yeah, I'd say closer to 20 than 40. That's right. That's right. Do you have umpires' names by chance? Say me what? Bryn, not bomb. Short on the O and umlaut on the com. The next one is Taylin Pullert. Pullert, like 2 syllables, Pullert. Labrum. Labrum, like the muscle. Or is that yeah, it's a muscle. Yep. Renner, yep.
Are we doing music again today?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was the last.
Yeah. Yep. Ayers and Slater. Oh, yeah, I was already sorry. Aspen Herndon, Bill Cockhill. how do you say Amy's last? Is it Sapanchik or Supanchik? For Bellevue? 6, 18, 19, 3, 22, 10, 7, 20, 16. For Bellevue. 6, 18, 19, 3, 22, 10, 7, 20, 16, and 1.
That's the order they're going to announce them.
Yes.
No, hands up music. The one on there.
Oh, hi there. You betcha. You're the man we all love to see, Ken. You don't have the. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm double headering. I'm gonna get the umpires' names wrong.
Oh, yeah.
What's the name? Hoog. Thank you. Hoogenstraw. Hoogestraa. Hoogenstraw, yeah. And then Ron Jones is the other one. And then we can get ready to go. All right, ready to rock and roll?
Welcome into the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network. We're today at the Renner and Dennis Outdoor Sports Complex. We have a matchup between the Carroll Fighting Saints and the Bellevue Bruins. Coming into this game, the Bellevue Bruins are 16 and 15. They just had a weekend series against Mayville State and against Dakota State, and the Bruins were able to notch up 4 wins and 2 losses in that strand. It was a tough start with a 7-1 defeat against the Comets, giving up 12 hits, but Game 2 was a quick response. Despite only being 1-12 with runners in scoring position, Brown had a 2-run shot, and the Bruins getting an insurance run in the 7th helped them win Game 2. The second day of the doubleheader was sweet for the Bruins as they were able to get the sweep that day of 9-4 and 5-3. The Bruins were able to get 28 total hits in the doubleheader, which was an impressive offensive showcase. This last Monday, the Bruins played Dakota State, where they were able to get a win in Game 1, 6-3, and a loss in 5-4. But the Bruins now 16 and 15, 6-4 in the Frontier Conference. And today against this game against Carroll. Carroll coming into this game are 8 and 10. I'm here with my partner Mick Krupski, and Mick, what are a couple of players do you kind of want to showcase for this matchup today?
Well, let's take a quick look at the Frontier Conference standings before we get into today's action. Valley City State and Providence on top of the Frontier with identical 6-2 records. Bellevue Bruins and Dickinson State a tie for third place, 6-4. Mayville State in fifth place, 4-4. Carroll is in sixth place with 3-5 overall record in conference, and Bismarck State 3-7, and Dakota State at 2-8. I think the person that the Bruins can rely upon today, my click to pick, borrowing from the old Chicago White Sox, Marguerite Brown with the .491 team average. Her batting average, she also leads in hits and doubles and slugging percentage and on-base percenter. She's been one of the team leaders throughout her short time here at Bellevue University. My click to pick for Carroll College is Brooke Thompson. She also shares a lot of those offensive categories, a .448 average, leads the teams in run, hits, home runs, runs batted in, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage as well. So The easy picks are those two
Yes.
young ladies who lead their teams in all those offensive categories.
So that's a couple players that Mick gave you. Let's take a look at the starting lineups today for both these squads. Starting off with the Bellevue Bruins, Mariah Unverzad is starting out in right field and batting first. Batting second is Marguerite Brown, starting at catcher. Batting third is Leslie Egan in left field. Batting fourth is Priya Mercury, starting at first base. Batting fifth is second baseman Miranda Garcia. Batting sixth, Emma Chrisman, a shortstop. Batting seventh, Savannah Short, the third baseman. Batting eighth is Macy Wyman. And batting ninth is Carly Bertolini at pitcher. And Layla Fiskus is the flex player in center field. Looking at the Carroll Fighting Saints, batting first for them is Bryn Notbaum, starting in right field. Batting second is Taylin Pillard, starting at catcher. Batting third is Sammy LeBrum at first base. Batting fourth is Brooke Thompson in left field. Batting fifth is Carly Smith. She's a designated hitter. Batting sixth is Madison Walker at shortstop. Batting seventh is Taylor Sayers at third base. Batting eighth is Ella Seaman at second base. Batting ninth is Katie Slater at center field. And pitching today for the Fighting Saints is Kennedy Venner.
The Bellevue Bruins softball squad has enjoyed some nice weather since opening the new Renner Dennis Sports Complex 2 weeks ago. Today, not quite in that same category. Cloudy day, 46 degrees. We had over an inch of rain in the Omaha-Bellevue area overnight and early this morning. Not expecting to see any rain over the next couple of hours, which is good. Also a windy day, 15 miles an hour out of the northwest. That means balls hit to the left field side might get knocked down a little bit. The wind blowing across the field from the left field side to the right field side.
Yeah, it's definitely a cold day here at the Renner and Dennis Outdoor Sports Complex with not the best weather, with rain kind of coming in. And we're about to get ready for the national anthem here, so we'll stand by for that.
We're just minutes away from first pitch of today's doubleheader between the home team, the Bellevue University Bruins, and the Carroll College Fighting Saints out of Helena, Montana.
Just about to get started here. Carly Bertolini will be taking the mound today for the Bellevue Bruins. Carly's a freshman from Papillion, Nebraska. She went to Papillion La Vista South. She was actually able to get some honors this season, where on March 2nd, just a month ago, she was able to be the Frontier Conference Pitcher of the Week. Here's some of the stats here.
Here's a quick look at Carly's stats on the season. 6 wins against 5 losses, a very good 2.37 earned run average for Bertolini. This is her 21st appearance on the season, the 9th time she's been the starter in the circle. She's thrown 65 innings, has allowed 66 hits, has struck out 39, and walked 25. Opponents only hitting .257 on the year against Carly Bertolini.
Carly's pretty impressive this past weekend. Won one of the games where the Bruins were able to win. She was able to get the last 6 out, 3 innings. So Carly's definitely been one of the top pitchers, not just in the Frontier Conference, but for the Bellevue Bruins.
A battle of the purple today. Both of these schools feature purple as the color. The Bruins uniforms today does not have a lot of purple on it. They'll wear the black pants with the white jerseys and purple trim. The visiting Fighting Saints, purple pants and gold jerseys with purple trim.
Batting first for the Carroll Fighting Saints is Bryn Notbaum, the sophomore out of Miles City, Montana. Here's the first pitch from Bertolini. And that one's going to be in there for ball one.
Notbaum hitting .302 on the season. This Fighting Saints squad hitting .312 as their team batting average.
Here's the 1-0. And that one's going to be in swing and a miss by Notbaum. That's going to be strike number one.
Again, the wind blowing from left to right today at about 15 miles an hour. Let's see if that affects any fly balls. Earlier this week when we covered some baseball action, the wind was blowing about 40 miles an hour. That definitely had an impact.
Yeah, and especially where this outdoor sports complex is, kind of in this open area, I feel you can definitely feel the wind a lot more than most other places. So weather could definitely be a factor. Here's the 1-1. And that was going to be in there for strike number two as Bertolini's trying to get a good start here. 2-2 the count. Here's the 2-2. That was going to be in just a bit outside, trying to make Notbaum reach there, but a good eye by her, and it's going to be a full count. Getting started here in the top of the first. Bruins trying to get a leadoff out here to start the game. Here's the pitch. Now it's going to be swung on right to Bertolini. She's going to throw it over the first base and get the out as the Bruins have a pretty good start there, getting out at the top of the first.
Nice backhanded play there by Bertolini. In that circle, it's not like you're coming off a mound like you do on a baseball field, but softball, everything is flat. Still a nice play by the Bruin pitcher.
Coming up will be Talon Pillard, the catcher. Pillard, so far this season, has a .388 batting average. Here's the first pitch. That's me in there for strike number one.
Mostly fastballs thus far from Bertolini. A couple of left-handed batters in the top two spots in the Fighting Saints lineup.
Here's the 0-1. And that one's going to be in there just outside for ball number one. I know kind of a difference between both of them because the Bruins seem to be more of a right-handed team. Carroll having some left-handed batters, so a bit of a switch-up.
Pullard hitting .388 on the season. That's good for second place amongst her teammates.
And the 1-1's going to be in there for strike number two as Bernally with a good start so far. And you're right, Mick, throwing a lot of just fastballs to start off this game. Here's the 1-2. That was going to be a bit outside as well. 2-2 the count. Pillard, a freshman out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And that's going to be in for strike number three as the first strikeout of the game comes here in the top of the first for Bertolini.
Again, another fastball right down the heart of the plate. Pullard must have been looking for something off speed, but came with the express for the first strikeout of the game.
Sammy Labrum now up to bat for the Fighting Saints, and that first pitch is going to be fouled off over to the right for strike number one.
Won't be a lot of fun chasing foul balls today. We had almost an inch of rain overnight and this morning, so this field's still under construction. There's a lot of mud to track through to get the foul balls today.
Here's the 0-1. That one's going to be in there. Just looks to be a bit inside for ball number one. But yeah, walking up here to the sports complex, a lot of mud and a lot of puddles. So any ball that kind of gets out there, it's going to need to be cleaned off a bit.
That last pitch, we did see the changeup from Carly Bertolini. Here's the 1-1.
That's going to be a hit. Going to be in right center field. That's going to be down for a hit. Going up to the wall. Going to second base will be Labrum as she's going to be able to get a two-out double here in the top of the first.
Labrum coming into today hitting .370 on the season. That is her fourth double of the year.
The dugout for the Fighting Saints are getting hyped over there, trying to get a quick two-out rally here early in the game. Brooke Thompson now up for the Fighting Saints.
And here's the young lady we talked about in our pregame Brooke Thompson hitting .448, 17 runs batted in. Those two categories tops for her team.
Yeah, really impressive showing in their past series against Dixon State. In the finale, they were able to come back and win that game, and Brooke Thompson was able to go 4 for 4 in that matchup. So definitely the more impressive hitter and someone you want in your cleanup spot. Here's the 1-0. That was going to be in there for strike number 1.
Nice location just above the knees on that pitch from Carly. First ever meeting between these two schools. Quite a few miles apart, but members now as part of the Frontier Conference. 8 different schools play softball in the Frontier.
Here's the 1-1. That one's going to be a ball outside as well. Yeah, Bruins will be seeing a lot of teams with the North Star Athletic Conference combining Frontier in the inaugural year. But it's been a good year for all sports, fun years for volleyball, same for basketball. So Bellevue Bruins have a good home here in the Frontier. Here's the 2-1. That's when we hit right to short over to first base, and that's going to be the third out of the inning. So Carroll's able to get no runs, but able to get 1 hit and 1 left on with no errors as the Bruins look to have a good start on their end at the bottom of the first.
Nice play by Bellevue shortstop Emma Chrisman. She's filling in today as short. Caitlin Fisher, the Bruins' normal starting shortstop, out sick, so she will not be available in either of the 2 games today.
That's definitely a big person to have out for the Bellevue Bruins. Caitlin Fisher on this season has a .417 batting average and is definitely one of the better hitters for the Bruins in her sophomore season. In her freshman year, she was a freshman, part of the freshman of the year for the North Star Athletic Association Conference. So not able to have her today, but Bruins looking to try to have some good defense here in this 4-game series with Carroll.
In the circle for Carroll College this afternoon, Kennedy Venner. A 4 wins, 3 loss record on the year, a 5.05 earned run average. This is her 9th appearance on the season, all of them in a starting role. 43 innings pitched. She's allowed 48 hits, has struck out 48, and walked 31. So pretty respectable numbers there for Kennedy Venner.
Leading off for the Bellevue Bruins today will be Mariah Unverzat. Mariah is a junior out of Papillion, Nebraska. She went to Papillion La Vista South High School, and she's a transfer from Johnson County Community College.
Mariah hitting .387 on the year. Bruins have 4 players hitting above the 400 mark. 3 more above 300.
And that first pitch is going to be ball number 1 here.
Bellevue team batting average, .340 thus far on the year. Not too shabby.
Here's the 1-0. Now it's going to be in there for strike number 1. And like we just said, Caitlin Fisher being out with an illness. She's usually the player that leads off for the Bruins, but Mariah Unverzat getting that job today. Here's the 1-1. Now it's going to be hit. Going to be over to first. Going to be an easy one to step right on the bag as Carroll's able to get the first out of the inning.
First baseman Sammy Labrum just had to wait for that one to come to her. She grabbed it and stepped on the base all in one motion.
Marguerite Brown up to bat for the Bruins. Went 6 for 8 in the Mayville series. Pretty impressive with a home run and a couple of doubles.
Marguerite, the team leader for the Bruins, .491. Outstanding at the plate for the Bruins.
That first pitch is going to be in there for strike number 1. Just a couple weeks ago, Marguerite Brown got Frontier Conference Player of the Week, so a great season so far for Brown.
The black and white look for the Bellevue Bruins this afternoon.
Here's the 0-1. Now it's going to be in there just outside for a ball. 1-1 the count. Marguerite Brown from Chapman, Ontario. So a player from Canada on the Bruins roster. Here's the 1-1. And that was going to be a bit outside. Thought about it, but good eye right there from Brown to make it 2-1 the count. Here's the 2-1. That was me a bit low. Hitters count here for Marguerite Brown.
Here's where Marguerite can be very selective. Hitter's advantage with the 3-1 count, looking for her favorite pitch and her favorite spot.
Yeah, one of the hitters for the Bruins definitely loves to be in this spot. Here's the 3-1. And that was going to be a strike. Good pitch right there from Renner, just having it just outside the strike zone. Brown didn't really like it. She thought about it, but it's the full count here.
Carroll outfield playing her to swing late. Center fielder and right fielder pulled the opposite direction.
That was going to be hit right to second base, on to first for the second out of the inning, as Carroll able to do it, as Ella Siemens able to get that ground out. Leslie Egan batting third today for the Bruins.
Egan, a .264 hitter on the year.
Here's the first pitch. That one's going to be a bit too high for ball number 1.
Egan, one of several Bellevue players who have played in all now 32 games on the season.
Leslie Egan, a senior out of Anaheim, California. Here's the 1-0, and that's going to be swung on and miss. Good pitch right there from Renner. Good fastball down the middle, and Egan wasn't able to keep up. Carroll trying to get a 1-2-3 inning here. Here's the pitch, and that was going to be strike number 2. A really, I believe, a changeup right there from Renner. She's able to get strike number 2.
Last couple of pitches right on that outside edge of the plate, trying to work away from Egan.
Now it's a good sweet spot for pitchers, because those ones just in that area can be tough to hit, and it's going to be a timeout right there. As Egan's going to dig right back in. 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2, and that's going to be swung on and miss. This means, oh.
They're going to say she held up. She had started the swing, but able to hold up the pitch off the outside edge.
Yeah, I don't know, from our vantage point, it looked like she might have went, but.
No.
Nah. I won't question the umpires at all. So 2-2 the count here. And that one's going to be.
Now that time the umpire says she did commit on the swing.
I'm surprised, maybe thinking it was a foul ball, maybe, but Bellevue Bruins getting no hits, no runs, no left on, and no errors, as we still have a 0-0 game as you go into the top of the second.
Jake and I had a chance to visit with both head coaches before the game to get lineups and pronunciations for the Carroll Fighting Saints squad. And chance to meet Shauna Juarez, 4th year as the helm of the program. She wanted to say thank you to Michaela Semino, Bellevue's head coach, now in her 17th season. Apparently Michaela and the Bruins delivered cards and cookies to the Fighting Saints as a welcome. First ever game between these two squads. Coach Juarez also wanted us to say hi to her mom and dad who are listening in. She said she loves her mom and dad, so message delivered on the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network. Battle of right-handers this afternoon in game number 1 of today's doubleheader. Kennedy Renner for the Fighting Saints and Carly Bertolini for the home team, Bellevue Bruins. There's Coach Juarez on her way down to the third base coaching box. Whole crew of assistants as well. Aspen Herndon, Bill Cockle, John Haw, Caitlin Ayers, and Neil Slater.
Leading off the top of the second here is Carly Smith, the designated player. Bertolini's trying to have another good pitching inning here, only giving up 1 hit in the top of the first. And that first pitch is going to be a bit outside for ball number 1.
Carly Smith hitting .302 on the year. Both these teams with some very impressive averages in the top half of the lineup.
That pitch is going to be a bit outside as well for ball number 2. Number 31 for Carly Smith, the highest number on the team. Here's the 2-0. And that was going to be a bit inside as well, as Bertolini not with as good a start in this inning. Start off 3-0. Carly Smith is a junior from Backfoot, Idaho. Went to Backfoot High School. And that one's going to be in there for strike number 1, making it a hitter's count.
Smith taking all the way on that 3-0 count. Now she'll be ready to swing if she finds something to her liking here.
Yeah, always smart for a player to take that 3-0, see what they're working with. And that pitch as well is going to be in there for a strike as Bertolini coming back in the count here, making it 3-2. Full count for Smith. Here's a 3-2 from Bertolini, and that was going to be a bit outside for the first walk of this game as Smith's able to get onto first.
With that leadoff lady on the bases now, Coach Juarez can do a variety of things here to try to advance her in a scoring position. Looks like she's going to go to the bench.
Yeah, and it's going to be a pinch hit here.
Pinch runner coming in. Reese Phillips will come on at first base as the pinch runner for Carly Smith.
Phillips, a sophomore out of Kittitas, Washington. But a runner on now for Madison Walker.
Early substitution for Coach Juarez. More than likely we'll see Smith re-enter the game, but right now trying to get some speed on the bases, get the first run on the game.
Madison Walker up to bat here, 2.86 ERA in her 12 games played. Here's the first pitch. That was going to be bunted down, trying to get that runner. Bertolini's going to get it over to first, but the runner's able to advance.
Bruins crash both corner infielders from first and third. Nice play by Bertolini to toss it over to first base, where second baseman Miranda Garcia got over to cover. Successful sacrifice from Madison Walker.
Taylor Sayers now up the third baseman. Now I have a runner in scoring position. Carroll trying to get on the board here early. Here's the first pitch from Bertolini, and that was going to be outside for ball number 1.
Sayers hitting .298, just under that 300 benchmark.
Sayers with 5 RBIs on the season, trying to get her 6th. And that 1-0 is going to be another ball here. As in this inning, Bertolini has not been able to find the strike zone as well. Here's the pitch. That was going to be in there for a strike. Good pitch inside right there from Bertolini. That pitch is going to be hit over to third. Savannah Short's not able to get it, but the runner's going to stop there at third. So good job right there from Leslie Egan, able to stop that ball before anything else is hurt. But runners in the corner here for Carroll with 1 out.
Diving attempt by Savannah Short came just a little bit too short. Runners to the corners with just 1 away. Let's see how the Bruins play this defensively.
That was Seaman now up to bat. In the series against Dixon State, she was able to get a walk-off winner. And the runner's going to advance, and it's going to be a bit of a pickle here. And she's able to get back to first, trying to run home. And they're going to try to get up there and not in time. And the runner's going to advance to second, and hopefully Savannah Short's okay, kind of coming up a bit slow.
So a little bit of crazy base running by the Fighting Saints here.
So it looked like
credit Sayers what they stole on base on the play. She got purposely in the rundown between first and second to try to give Phillips a chance to score. Phillips having to scramble back to third was she and Short crashed into each other. Looks like both of them are going to be okay, but Phillips may have slightly injured that right arm or shoulder.
Yeah, definitely a interesting play right there. So kind of seemed that Sayers was trying to steal at first, and Brown was able to get over to second. Almost got into a pickle. The runner tried to advance home, and then that was the main focus for the Bruins. But 1 stolen base for Carroll. Runners on second and third here.
Short and Phillips slap each other a couple of times as a show of good sportsmanship.
Yep. Here's the pitch, and that one for LSU is going to be strike. 0-2 the
play
count.
their infielders up just a little bit closer to home plate here. Try to cut down a run at the plate on the sharply hit ground ball.
0-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and that was going to be swung on and miss, and a great job by Bertolini to get a huge out there to make it 2 outs. 2 runners in scoring position here for the Fighting Saints.
Second strikeout of the game for Bertolini.
Katie Slater up to bat now in the 9 spot for Carroll. That first pitch is going to be in there for ball number 1.
Bertolini averages about 5 strikeouts per game on the season. 1 in the first, 1 in the second.
Here's the 1-0. That one's going to be, looks to be a bit low for ball number 2. Slater with a .364 batting average in her 15 games played. She has 4 RBIs on the season. I'm trying to get that set up a bit here with 2 outs in the top of the second. Here's the 2-0. That one's going to be in there for strike number 1. A good changeup right there from Bertolini. Make it 2 on the count.
Big pitch there by Carly to get back in the count. Now 2-1.
That pitch is going to be in there. Strike number 2. A good one right there, just on the outside corner of the zone. 2-2 the count here. Bertolini trying to get out of this. And that one's going to be ball number 3, 3-2 the count. Full count here. Runners probably won't be, maybe be going right on impact. But it'll be
Slater, the 9-hole hitter. Here's where Carly wants to take care of business.
that was going to be swung on a miss for a strikeout over to first on the drop third strike. And the Bruins able to get out of this inning, but there's 1 hit, no runs, 1 hit, 2 left on, and no errors. The Bruins are able to get out of that with 2 runners in scoring position, keeping it 0-0 as you go into the bottom of the second.
Well, 3 base runners left on base through the first 2 innings for the Fighting Saints, all of them in scoring position. They're hoping that doesn't come back to haunt them, but nice pitching by Carly Bertolini to work her way out of trouble in the top of the second inning. I'm an old history teacher from back in the day, so when I do research upon the Bruins' opponents, I like to bring a little history in. Carroll College is named in honor of Catholic Bishop John Carroll, who founded the school. The school was originally named Mount St. Charles College, founded in 1909, but changed to Carroll College when John Carroll passed away in 1925. So there's your history lesson so far today, and any of the stuff I can think of as well.
No, always cool stats from you, Mick. Yeah, we always love a bit of history in sports. That's always a cool thing to hear. So
you either love history or you hate history.
Yeah.
There's very little middle ground,
No
as
middle ground
my
with
students from the past will say. Again, 46 degrees in Bellevue, Nebraska at game time. The wind out of the northwest about 15 miles an hour blowing from the left field corner to the right field corner.
yeah, this doubleheader today on this Thursday was slated to be at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock, but with the weather that's been going on in Nebraska, got pushed back a bit, so the 4 o'clock start time.
Yeah, we walked across the field before the game. It's pretty dry. This field turf synthetic field sits on top of drainage pipes and several layers of rock, so it drains very well.
Bree McMurtry now up to bat for the Bruins, leading off the bottom of the second. McMurtry has a .375 batting average on the year.
Bree with a couple of home runs in the last series against Dakota State, 1 in each of the games, including the first one, a game winner, 3-run blast. 10th on the career list for Bellevue University in that home run categories. Thanks again, Bill Mullins, sports information guy, providing us with all kinds of info and data.
There's a 2-0. That one's going to be way too high. 3-0 the count. McMurtry, a local player here, went to Bellevue East High School.
Kennedy Venner on for her second inning of work.
And that one's going to be ball number 4 as a leadoff walk for the Bruins here. They're able to get a runner on with no outs.
First base runner of the afternoon for the Bruins. Let's see if the Bruins try to sacrifice McMurtry. or let Miranda Garcia swing away.
We'll see here. And it's going to be a bunt. A good one right there as the runner will advance, and Garcia's going to be out at first. A good sacrifice bunt. As so far, in the second, Carroll started off the same way with a walk and a sacrifice bunt, and the Bruins are able to here.
Labrum to Seaman for the out for the Fighting Saints as we have our first Offutt Air Force Base landing. We'll see those throughout the course of the doubleheader today. We're located just southeast of the Offutt Air Force Base main runway.
Now up for the Bruins is going to be Emma Chrisman, the senior from Bellevue West High School. Here's the 0-1, and that one's going to be a bit low. McMurtry was thinking of maybe trying to advance there, but staying put at second base.
Chrisman can play any of the infield positions, especially the middle infield, getting the start at short today since Caitlin Fisher is sick.
Chrisman's already made a play out there and at short today, so.
Job here, try to hit the behind the runner, advance, or scorer.
Here's the 1-2, and that one's going to be a bit outside, trying to make Chrisman reach. She's not going to bite it. 2-2 the count. One out here in the bottom of the second. Here's the 2-2. And that was going to be swung on and missed, and it's going to be a strikeout. The second strikeout in this game for Renner.
Just like we saw the Bruins' Carly Bertolini with some big strikeouts in the top of this inning. A big one there for Kennedy Renner.
Savannah Short now up to bat for the Bellevue Bruins. Here were 2 outs with the runner on second. Here's the first pitch. That one's going to be hit. That's going to be down the third base line, and that one's going to be fair. That's going to score McMurtry. Savannah Short's going to second, and she will be right there. But a RBI double for Savannah Short, and that's huge for the Bellevue Bruins as they take a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the second.
Nice short, quick swing by Savannah Short. That pitch on the inner half just over the top of the third base bag. And now Shauna Juarez out of the dugout to talk with the plate umpire. Had a pretty good look at that one down the line. Our umpires today are Jeremy Hugestra and Ron Jones. So the Bruins on the board first. The first hit of the game for Bellevue is a productive one from Savannah Short.
Savannah Short was able to get an RBI double this past weekend in the road trip for the Bellevue Bruins, so continue her hot streak here with 2 outs. Macy Wyman up to bat here, and that's going to get started off with a ball number 1.
Short with her 17th run batted in of the season. Still a chance for more for the home team with a runner at second base.
Bit of a 2-out rally here in the bottom of the second. And that one's going to be a bit high, and Macy Wyman swings at it for strike number 1. Macy Wyman, another freshman on the Bellevue Bruins roster. Here's the 1-1, and that one looks to be just outside the strike zone there for ball number 2. Macy Wyman, the designated player today for the Bellevue Bruins. Here's the 2-1. And nice changeup, I believe, there.
Yes.
Inside for strike number 2.
That puts that little doubt in the batter's mind. You're going to come fast, going to come slow. You got to be ready for anything now with 2 strikes on Wyman.
Here's the 2-2 to Wyman. That's going to be swung on and missed for the second strike of this inning. And retires the side for the Bruins. But the Bruins able to get 1 hit and 1 run with 1 runner left on and no errors. And the Bellevue Bruins take a 1-0 lead into the top of the third.
We've seen a lot of base runners so far in the game. Bellevue able to break on top first in this bottom of the second inning. Again, the Bruins are 16-15 overall since coming back from their spring Florida trip. The Bruins have been 7-4. Most of that in the month of March. First game now in the month of April. Happy day after April Fool's Day, everyone.
I don't know. I didn't really get any jokes done to me yesterday, Mick. Did anyone try to pull anything on you on April Fool's Day?
You know, it wasn't the only one I saw online was a local restaurant that's known for its Czech cooking.
Okay.
Said that they were stopping making dumplings and sauerkraut.
That's
and
a funny
then they
one.
came back on, so those of us of Czech or Polish background, Kanedliki and Zeli.
Yeah.
That's what I was brought up on, along with kolaches for dessert.
Another cool thing about being Czech, on Tuesday, the Czechia national team was able to win their knockout stage, and they're going to the World Cup. So, bit of a cool thing I'm personally Czech, so I was rooting for them to get that. So, cool to see another team in the World Cup. Leading off here will be Bryn Notbaum here. She's 0-1 on the day. Start off with getting grounded out to Bertolini. Here's the 0-1. That was going to be outside.
Both these teams very good on defense. The Fighting Saints, a 954 defensive fielding average. The Bruins a couple of ticks better at 963.
Here's the 1-1. That was going to be hit over to Miranda Garcia, over to McMurtry, and that's going to be the first out of the inning.
Nice big long hop to Garcia on that play. That's the kind you want. Field it off that long hop. You can read it well, field it, and throw it.
Taylor Pillard struck out in her first time up in the first inning. And that first pitch is going to be a bit low for ball number 1. And Pillar's going to foul that one off. Going to hit back to the backstop. Pillar ranks second on the team coming into this series with a .388 batting average. Here's the 1-1. And that one's going to be in there for a strike. Nice pitch by Bertolini, making it 1-2.
This is the 6th game of the season at the new Renner Dennis Outdoor Athletic Complex. The Bruins are 3 wins and 2 losses in the first 5 games. Second Frontier Conference Series.
And that one's going to be strike number 3, struck out looking, as Bertolini is able to get her 4th strikeout of the game.
Second time that Pollard has been caught looking on the strikeouts. 4 Ks for Carly on the game.
Sammy Labrum now up to bat for the Fighting Saints. And that first pitch is going to be in the dirt for ball number 1. Last inning, Carroll threatened a bit to score a run with 2 runners on, but so far this inning, Bertolini's getting back to business. Here's the 1-0. That was going to be fouled off over the Carroll dugout.
New facility with batting cages and bullpen, both the home and visiting squad. Lighted field, that'll come into play for the second game of today's doubleheader.
Here's the 1-1. Now it's going to be hit. Popped up high to right center field, but Unverzat's able to be right there for it and retire the side, as no runs, no hits, no errors, and the Bellevue Bruins take a 1-0 lead going into the bottom of the 3rd.
First time in today's game that Carroll College has been retired in order. Hey, let's give a tip of the cap to the Bellevue University baseball team. They are currently rated number 3 in the nation in the NAIA Coaches Baseball Pro. 29-3, their overall record. The Bruins were also supposed to play this weekend against Dickinson State up in North Dakota, but bad weather conditions, a change of days, and a change of venue. That series will be played here at the baseball field at the Renner Dennis Complex. That'll be Monday and Tuesday, a pair of doubleheaders each day for the baseball team against the Dickinson State Blue Hawks.
And also, I think they have the longest active winning streak in all of NAIA right now. So big props to the baseball team. I think I saw that. I think I saw NAIA posted that they had the longest active win streaks. And Bellevue Bruins up there at number 1. And the pitcher, Carly Bertolini, will lead off us here in the bottom of the third. So pitcher-on-pitcher matchup here, and that first pitch is going to be in there for ball number 1.
Bertolini, another one of the Bruins above the 400 mark, 417. She's played in 20 of the Bruins' 31 games.
Yeah, Bruins been impressive on offense all season long. Here's the first pitch from Renner. Second pitch, excuse me.
Only 12 at-bats, however, in those 20 games as Carly's impressive pitcher. But she can do both very well.
Renner dropped the ball a bit there for a second. 2-0 the count here. In the bottom of the third. That one's going to be fouled off. Hit over the Carroll bench into the dirt over there. I believe you said, Mick, this used to be a complex for Little League teams to play, so multiple other stadiums you'll see around this complex. That one's going to be in there for a strike. That's 2-2 the count.
Used to be called the Hall of Fame Fields. It was created back in the late 1990s, early 2000s. Had 5 or 6 Little League fields that could be used for either baseball or softball. Also had a dormitory right here on the facility for teams to stay.
That pitch is going to be in there a bit low for ball number 3, full count here for Bertolini.
That was pretty much destroyed, however, in the floods of 2019. Bellevue just acquiring this property last year, and some very quick, very good construction, creating soccer, softball, and baseball fields.
Here's the full count. That one's going to be hit over to third. Bertolini's going to try to get to the first, and the throw will be in time for the first out of the inning. Really good play right there from the third baseman, Taylor Serrers, being able to get that one.
Good job of reading the ball off the bat to charge and get that. And across the diamond in time. Back to the top of the order for the home team.
Raya Unverzat grounded out to first in her first at bat. That first one pitch is going to be in there for ball number 1. Unverzat also pitches for the Bellevue Bruins. And that one's going to be fouled off down the first base line.
See, just about every one of the players wearing a pair of batting gloves today on this cool day. Unverzat following suit with that.
Yeah, luckily for both these teams, they have heaters in their dugouts, so helps out a little bit with the colder weather that can come up here in Nebraska. Here's the 1-1, and that one's going to be inside for ball number 2 here with 1 out in the bottom of the third.
As you mentioned earlier, Jake, this field, a wide open floodplain of the Missouri River, so there's nothing to stop the wind from any direction.
So you can definitely feel it. Here's the 2-1. Now it's going to be in there, down the middle fastball for strike number 2. That's usually a pitch that Unverzat would like, but lets that one go, making it 2-2 the count. Now it's going to be fouled off. Good job by Unverzat to reach down and get that one, get a piece of it. Fouled off.
Not only do we get airplanes from Offutt Air Force Base, we also get freight trains on the nearby Burlington Northern Santa Fe line. Yeah, we got traffic on Harlan Lewis Road beyond the outfield fence, so we got all kinds of movement.
All 3 types of transportation. Here's the 2-2, and that's going to be swung on a miss as Renner is able to get her 4th strikeout of the game.
Renner averaging over a strikeout per inning on the season, 43 innings coming in and 48 strikeouts.
Marguerite Brown now up for the Bruins. She hit into to the second baseman for a ground out in her first time up to bat. And that first pitch is going to be in there for strike number one.
And again, a very interesting defensive alignment for Carroll. The infielders are playing her to pull. The outfielders are playing her to go late, opposite way.
Marguerite Brown, one of the better hitters for the Bellevue Bruins, and defensive adjustment for the Fighting Saints. That second pitch is a bit outside, but Marguerite Brown reaches for it, not able to get it, making it 0-2. Marguerite Brown. Here's the 0-2. That one's going to be fouled off. Going to get a piece of it over by the new batting cages over there into the dirt.
Marguerite, the native of Ontario, Canada, started her college career at Kankakee Community College. First year as a Bellevue Bruin.
0-2 the count here. Here's the pitch. That was going to be outside for a ball. Yeah, Marguerite Brown had a couple good years there at Kankakee Community College. Helped them lead to a 44-16 record there. Here's the 1-2. That one's going to be fouled off again. So a good AB so far for Marguerite Brown. Good battle between her and Renner. One, two outs here in the bottom of the third. And that was going to be swung on a miss. Over to first with a drop third strike will be out. And the Bellevue Bruins go 1-2-3 in that inning, keeping it 1-0 as you go into the top of the fourth.
2 strikeouts in the inning for Kennedy Renner. She pulled the string there on Brown, got her ahead on the pitch, and got the strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts to finish off the inning. This is the 32nd game of the year for the Bellevue Bruins. This is the 19th game of the year for Carroll College. Most of these teams rely on the small game, hitting, bunting, advancing the base runners when they can. Neither team with real big power numbers. The Bruins do have 19 home runs in their prior 31 games. Only 7 home runs for Carroll College in their previous 18. So those singles, those doubles, those sacrifice bunts, a very big part of both these teams' game. Airplay number 2.
I know we'll have to keep like a counter every time we do a game, Mick, for sure. Well, it seems like we can kind of see all 3 types of transportation. You see the train, you see the planes, you see cars driving through.
Somebody ought to make a movie about that, like trains and planes and automobiles or something. Where's John Candy?
Well, yeah, what a great idea. No, fantastic movie right there. Due up in this inning for Carroll will be Brooke Thompson, Carly Smith, and Madison Walker. Brooke Thompson, one of the top hitters for Carroll, if not the top hitter, with a 4.48 batting average coming into this game. Went 4 for 4 in the series finale against Dixon State. So a pretty impressive hitter on a hot streak right now, but started off 0 for 1 in the day, hitting over to short. Here's the first pitch.
Thompson, a 469 on base average. That's about 1 out of every 2 times up she's on. And an impressive 776 slugging percentage.
That pitch can be in there for a ball as well, 2-0 the count.
4 home runs, 1 triple, and 5 doubles helped that slugging percentage for Thompson.
Here's the pitch. Now he's going to be there for strike number 1. A good fastball right there from Bertolini down the middle, making it 2-1. And that was going to be hit right to McMurtry. Easy just touch on the bag as the Bellevue Bruins get an out to start this inning.
A little late on the swing, directed right at the first baseman. McMurtry with the play. Another put out for her on the season.
Now up to bat for Carroll is Carly Smith as she takes strike number 1 there.
Bree McMurtry with over 200 putouts on the season.
That one's going to be in there for a ball. 1-1 the count here. Carly Smith, a junior here. And that one's going to be a good fastball in the middle. Carly Smith not able to keep up for strike number 2. 1-2 the count here with 1 out in the top of the 4th.
1 hit in the first inning, 1 hit in the second inning. That's the offense so far for Carroll College. No runs.
And that one's going to be a drop third strike over to McMurtry. And the Bruins get the second out of the inning as Carly Smith's not able to do anything there.
5 strikeouts now on the game for Bertolini.
The Bruins able to get a 1-2-3 inning last time out. Trying to get another one here. That first one's going to be a changeup. Will be called a ball number 1 here. Burnley trying to get out here. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be down the middle there for a strike against Madison Walker. Madison Walker, a junior out of Ridgefield, Washington. Here's the 1-1. And now it's going to be a bit low for ball number 2. Bruins are able to get a run in the bottom of the second. Carroll hasn't been able to get much offense going here. Here's the 2-1. And that one's going to be ball number 3, and it's going to be a hitter's count for Walker. Carroll in the top of the second had 2 runners on at second and third, but Burnley was able to get out of that jam to keep this a 0-run game for him. Here's the 3-1. Now it's going to be hit on over to Garcia. Garcia's going to have an easy throw to McMurtry, and the Bruins retire the side with no runs, no hits, no errors, and no left on as the Bruins take a 1-0 lead into the bottom of the 4th.
8 in a row retired now by the Bruin defense and pitcher Carly Bertolini with that ground ball. In fact, we've only seen 1 fly ball to the outfield thus far through the first 4 innings for Carroll College. Bruin infield and the battery in the circle on behind the plate getting most of the work today.
Now, been a good defensive showing for the Bellevue Bruins.
Halfway through today's 7-inning game 1 of the doubleheader. 1 run on 1 hit for the Bellevue Bruins. No runs on 2 hits for the Carroll Fighting Saints. Perfect defense so far. No errors in today's contest. The RBI double by Savannah Short accounting for the only run so far in today's game. That was back in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, so far on this season, the Bellevue Bruins have a 963 fielding percentage and have had 34 errors on the season, but like Mick just said just there, none today so far. Leslie Egan starting out here for the Bellevue Bruins. In the bottom of the 4th. That one's going to be fouled off right away, back to the back net. 0-1 the count. Leslie Egan, a senior out of Anaheim, California. She went to Savannah High School. One count here in the bottom of the 4th. And that one's going to be swung on and missed for strike number 2 for Leslie Egan.
Carly Bertolini, 1 strikeout off her season high for strikeouts. She has 5 so far.
Here's the 0-2. Now it's going to be swung on and missed again for the 3rd strike. And a good job by Venner there to get the first out of this inning.
Now 6 strikeouts for Kennedy Venner.
So overall, a pretty good pitching battle between Venner and Bertolini. And like you said, Bertolini, 1 strikeout off her season high. McMurtry now up for the Bruins. She walked her first time up bat, but was able to score the only run for the Bruins. And that pitch outside, McMurtry reaching for it for strike number 1.
Nice movement on that curveball from Venner. Broke off the plate, but McMurtry had already committed to the swing.
That pitch is going to be in there for strike number 2, and Venner with all strikes so far in this inning. 3 straight strikes to Egan, and now 2 straight strikes to McMurtry.
Trying to keep the ball away from Bree by working the outer half. Let's see where she goes with this one.
0-2, and McMurtry maybe thought about it, but saw that was a bit too outside for the first ball of this inning. 1-2 the count.
Again, away from Venner. Let's look over the shoulder of catcher Talon Pullert, see where she sets up this time.
That one's going to be swung on over to short, over to first, and the throw is in time for the second out of the inning as McMurtry not able to reach first base there.
Give the assist to shortstop Madison Walker across the diamond to Sammy Labrum for the second out of the inning as we have our second flyover.
Miranda Garcia now up to bat for the Bruins. The senior out of Los Lunas, New Mexico. Here's the first pitch. That's going to be swung on and missed. Just an impressive inning so far for Venner. Able to make the Bruins miss on a lot of her pitches. Garcia coming in with a .273 batting average.
Had a big RBI in the last series against Dakota State.
And that one's going to be a bit inside for ball number 1. So Venner trying to get a 1-2-3 inning here. Last time she was able to do that was in the first inning against the Bruins.
And Venner has retired 6 consecutive Bruin batters.
Here's 1-1. That one's going to be fouled off to the backstop. An all-turf field here at the Renner Dennis Outdoor Sports Complex, so kind of helps out with some weather a bit, besides grass.
Kind of a lot.
Yeah,
we had
it helps
an
out a lot.
inch of rain overnight and this morning. We would not be playing on a natural
it'd be
dirt
tough.
and grass field today.
That one's going to be a bit too high for Garcia. Making it ball number 2 here. 2-2 the count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
Quite a process putting together a turf field, different layers underneath.
And swung on a miss is Garcia as another strikeout. Second strikeout of this inning, and I believe her 7th strikeout of the game, as no runs, no hits, no runners left on, and no errors as we go into the top of the 5th.
For the construction of a turf field, you basically have to get some bulldozers come in and dig out a couple of feet of dirt. On the bottom of that, you set a liner with drainage pipes, then some rock, then some gravel on top of that. You bring in the steam rollers, flatten it all down, and then you roll out the barrel. No, you don't roll out the barrel. You roll out the field turf, stitch it together, and you create a facility like we have here, the new Renner Dennis Outdoor Athletic Complex, named in honor of the Renner family and the Dennis family, who have been supporters of Bellevue University and specifically Bellevue sports.
And I believe you said this earlier in the broadcast, able to get this complex up to be playable pretty fast in just a year. Pretty impressive. And
yeah, I'm amazed that they got this accomplished. The soccer field was the first focus of their efforts. They got that done in just a couple of months. They started back in the summer. It was ready to go by the fall. Then softball was ready. Then baseball was ready. So all 4 sports, men's and women's soccer, men's baseball, and women's softball, now with their new home. Still some more things yet to go. They're going to build locker rooms and restrooms, concession stands, things like that. Maybe some more concrete and more bleachers too, but right now it's a very, very good work in progress.
Leading off for Carroll here is the third baseman, Taylor Sayers. She was able to get a single on her first time up. So 1-1 so far on the day. Here's the 1-0 from Bertolini. That was going to be a bit low.
Actually, Sayers' single was hit too hard. She hit it to left field, and that did not allow pinch runner Reese Phillips to score because Bellevue left fielder Leslie Egan got it in very quickly.
That one's going to be a nice pitch inside there for strike number 1. Bertolini with 6 straight outs against Carroll. That one's going to be fouled off, making it 2-2.
Actually, 8 straight outs.
Oh, 8 straight outs. Excuse me. Thank you for correcting me, Mick. Pretty impressive so far.
And half of those were on strikeouts.
Here's the 2-2, and that one's going to be fouled off again.
So if Sayers does get on here to break the streak, you can blame Jake and me
Yes.
for the announcer's
Yes.
jinx.
You can do that. Bertolini with her season high so far of strikeouts on this season is 5. Trying to get a 6th one here. Here's the 2-2. That was going to be swung on up to center field, and a nice hit right there, making her 2 of 2 of the day. And a
It's
leadoff
all
single for
Jake's
the Fighting
fault.
Saints. Yep, that one's all me. I said the stat wrong, and I brought it up, and I brought up about the strikeouts. So that's my fault, too.
Third hit of the game for the Fighting Saints.
But a good job by Sayers right there to get a lead off here, trying to bunt it here to sacrifice, and it was pretty close right there to Sayers not being ready. Brown didn't decide to throw it over to McMurtry, and that could have had a chance for an out there for the Bruins.
Again, the Bruins are going to crash the corner infielders. Garcia's responsibility is to cover first, and then Christman will cover second.
And that one in there is going to be missed bunt for strike number 1. Ella Seaman was able to get a walk-off winner in the series against Dickinson State in the start of that series. Here's a 1-1. Now it's going to be bunted down, and it's going to be a foul ball again. So with 2 strikes here, it's really risking if you try to do another bunt. So wouldn't be surprised if Ella Seaman just tries to swing away here. Ella Seaman, she struck out in her first at-bat.
Let's see if Coach Juarez keeps the bunt on here or has Seaman trying to swing for the base hit.
Here's the 1-2, and that was going to be a bit outside, and it's looking like Ella will not be bunting and should be swinging away. 0 outs here in the top of the 5th with the 2-2 count.
Bruin infielders able to hold their positions now with 2 strikes.
That was going to be swung and going to be a fouled ball. Don't know if that one hit her foot or not. She seemed a little bit shaken up at first, but should be all good.
Yeah, went straight down off her front leg, front foot. Wound up in fair territory, but it's a dead ball as soon as it makes contact with the batter's body.
Here's the 2-2. Bertolini. Now it's going to be hit up to center field, trying to go back by the warning track, and it's going to be caught by center fielder Layla Fiskus.
So the Fighting Saints don't advance the base runner. Now 1 on, 1 out for the 9-hole hitter.
Katie Slater, center fielder, coming up to bat now. A left-handed batter for the Fighting Saints. And that one, she tried to bunt it off there, but it's going to be a foul ball. Brown tried to kind of catch that one with her hand there.
That's one of those, could be a bunt for a sacrifice, bunt for a base hit. It's a foul ball, so it doesn't really matter, just strike 1.
Yeah, Katie Slater struck out in her first at bat with a drop third strike, and Brown was able to get to McMurtry on that one. Here's the 0-1. And that was going to be a bit low and outside for a ball. 1-1 the count.
Slater, the first of 3 consecutive left-handed batters in the 9-1-2 spots for Carroll College.
Here's the 1-1. That was going to be hit right to shortstop. Going to try and get the double play. Throw over to first is not in time. But a good play right there from Emma Chrisman, getting it over to second, getting the lead runner and making it 2 outs here in the top of the 5th.
Bruins get the leading out on the play. That's very important to keep a runner out of scoring position as the Saints turn it back to the top of the order.
Bryn Notbaum now up to bat here. And that first pitch can be in there for a strike. 0-2 on the day, hitting into 2 groundouts so far.
Carroll dugout trying to make some noise to encourage Notbaum.
Here's the 0-1, going to be outside for a ball. Notbaum coming into the series with a .302 batting average. She has 7 RBIs on the season. Here's the 1-1. That was going to be fouled off. Hit hard over to the batting cages over there, just above the Bellevue Bruins dugout.
Hey, great news. We've gone up 2 degrees since first pitch, now 48 degrees. Clouds are going to be with us all day long. However, we won't see any sunshine to help warm up the folks in the bleachers and on the field.
Here's the 1-2, and that was going to be swung on and missed for a strikeout in Carly Bertolini with a new season high in strikeouts with 6. 1 hit, 1 left on, and no run scored for Carroll as you go into the bottom of the 5th with the Bellevue Bruins up 1-0.
Again, a nice job by Bertolini and her teammates to avoid damage after the runner gets on to start the inning. Game number 2 will begin about 20 to 30 minutes after the conclusion of game number 1 today. Give the young ladies a chance to grab a bite to eat, rest a little bit, and then back to the action.
And I won't be here for game number 2, so Mick Krupski will be leading the way through that game by himself. But, Mick, you've been doing it for enough years. I think you can handle a game by yourself just fine.
Just a few. This is
Just a few.
my 18th year here doing internet broadcasts for Bellevue University. I did over 60 different broadcasts last year. I was figuring out my income tax, checking my mileage and things like that. So
fun to do.
I cover volleyball, basketball, and baseball. Jake joined us this past winter with his first broadcast covering men's and women's basketball, and now covering the softball side of things.
Yeah, nice of Bellevue to let me stick around. And Carly and Emma Chrisman leading off the way here for the Bruins. And that one's going to be a nice pitch in there by Renner. Good fastball. And Chrisman not able to catch up with it.
If you're watching and wondering, how come so many different planes are coming in for a landing? They're practicing what are called touch and goes. They don't actually land. They come in, almost land, but then accelerate once again and go around and do it again. So that's not 4 different planes that you've seen. It's the same plane working on its landings and takeoffs.
Emma Chrisman, a senior in her 4th season in the Bellevue Bruins program. And that one's going to be swung and missed again for strike number 2. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Emma Chrisman. And that one's going to be a bit too high and outside for ball number 2. 2-2 the count. Here's the 2-2. And that one's going to be fouled off for a good at-bat here by Emma Chrisman.
People around home plate have to be very careful on those foul balls that hit the net of the backstop. It's very tight. The caroms off of that oftentimes heads back right near where it came from.
And Chrisman 0-1 on the day with a strikeout in the 2nd inning. Here's the 2-2. And that one's going to be outside for a ball. The Carroll fans didn't seem too happy about that one, but I think from our vantage point, looked a bit outside and low.
And a few fans made their way down from Helena, Montana to be part of the action here this weekend. Happy almost Easter, everybody, as well.
Here's the full count, and that one's going to be low for a ball, and the Bellevue Bruins able to get a runner on first here in the bottom of the fifth.
Again, getting that leadoff person on base, so very important. It sets up a lot of things for your offense. 7-hole hitter up for the Bruins.
In the second inning, when the Bruins are able to get a run on, they started off that inning with a walk. See if that continues here in the bottom of the fifth. Savannah Short's going to look to bunt it, and that one's going to be popped up and luckily hits the net. That's the one thing you don't want with a bunt when it pops up in the air, and could have been a quick out for Taylin Pillard.
Savannah does have 2 sacrifice bunts on the season.
Savannah Short with a good first AB this game, where she was able to double an RBI in the second for the 1 run in this inning, for the 1 run in this game for the Bruins. 1 runner on here. Here's the 1-1, and that one's going to be swung and a miss, and a nice fastball by Renner. She's been able to get a lot of Bruin batters today with that pitch.
7 strikeouts for Kennedy Venner on the day. 1 ahead of Bellevue pitcher Carly Bertolini.
Here's the 0-2, and that one's going to be outside, trying to make Savannah reach for it. No luck there, so it's ball number 1 here. 1-2 the count.
Chrisman, the runner at first for the Bruins. No stolen bases on the year.
Here's the 1-2, and that one's going to be fouled off again. Good battle here between Short and Renner. So far, it's been a good defensive battle for both teams, with just the 1 run scored by the Bruins in this game so far. Carroll with 3 hits, Bruins with 1. Savannah has that 1 hit. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be a bit low and inside, making it 2-2.
Michaela Samina, the head coach for the Bellevue Bruins. She's coaching at the third base spot. Kelly Cheshire, assistant coach over at first.
Here's the 2-2. And that one's going to be a bit high, swung and miss, and trying to get that throw over to first, but not in time for a double play. But 8th strikeout of the game for Renner, getting the first out of this inning.
So it's up to the bottom part of the order. 8-hole hitter Macy Wyman, then 9-hole hitter Carly Bertolini, if the Bruins are going to play to run in this inning.
Yeah, first pitch is going to be inside, trying to get a stolen base here, and it's going to be out.
On the money throw from catcher Taylin Pullert. Tag applied, and Chrisman is erased.
Very good throw right there from to get Chrisman out. And I know you're mentioning that Chrisman hasn't had a stolen base so far this year. Try to get her first one there, and a perfect throw by Pillard gets her out for the second out of this inning.
Emma now 0 for 2 on her steal attempts.
Wyman's going to hit that one to center field, and able to get under it right there is Carroll, the Carroll center fielder, Katie Slater, to retire the side. So the Bellevue Bruins, there's 1 walk, but no hits and nobody left on, as the Bellevue Bruins have a 1-0 lead as we go into the top of the 6th here at the Renner Dennis Outdoor Sports Complex.
Bellevue still with just 1 hit on the game. It was that big double by Savannah Short in the second inning. RBI double for her, played at Bree McMurtry. That's where we stand with 2 innings to go. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Bruins 1, and the Fighting Saints nothing. Helena, Montana, the home of the Fighting Saints of Carroll College, the capital city of the Treasure State, their official nickname, but most people say Big Sky Country when they refer to Montana rather than the Treasure State. My wife and I have been there a couple of times on vacation. We've enjoyed both of those occasions. The beauty of Glacier National Park and a whole lot of other scenic things to see and do in Montana as well. All right, enough travel log. Let's get back to the ball game.
Carly Bertolini still out there for the Bellevue Bruins, trying to get herself to have a complete game here in the first game of this doubleheader. Bellevue and Carroll will be playing a 4-game series total. This is the first one with another one happening 30 minutes after this game and at 2 and 4 o'clock tomorrow.
And since you mentioned complete games, Jake, Carly has started 8 games prior to this. She does have 3 complete games.
Here's the 0-0.
Riley Simone, the pinch hitter. She's hitting 146 on the season. Pinch hitting for Talon Pullard, who has struck out on both of her at-bats today.
Trying to switch it up a bit to get some better offense here. Riley Simone, from a sophomore out of Cody, Wyoming.
Another very scenic place.
And that pitch is going to be in there for strike number 2. A good pitch on the outside corner there. Here in the top of the 6th, 1-0 lead for the Bellevue Bruins. Here's the 0-2. Now it's going to be swung on over to Savannah Short and able to get over to McMurtry for the out. What an impressive play by Savannah Short right there to be able to gain a lot of distance, get it over to first in time for the first out of this inning.
The hardest part of that play was after she gloved it, was able to turn her body to make an accurate throw to first base. Nicely done by Savannah Short.
It's a bit tougher in softball with the 60-foot distance between the bags. That first pitch being their first strike, kind of different than baseball where it's 90 feet. So being able to have to turn your body, get that throw over to first base, an impressive play by the third baseman, Savannah Short. 0-1 the count here in the top of the 6th. Here's the pitch. That one's going to be outside. 1-1 the count. Labrum so far is 1-2 on the day. Last time up in the third inning, flew out to right field.
And again, the Bruin outfielders have not been very busy. Only 2 putouts recorded. One by Unverzad in right field and one by Fiskus in center. Everything else happening on the infield.
Here's the 2-1. Now it's going to be swung on and missed. Nice fastball by Carly Bertolini. 2-2 the count here in the top of the 6th. Bertolini with 6 strikeouts so far in this game. Here's the 2-2. Now it's going to be swung over. And trying to stop it there to get to throw and gets her out. What a throw right there from Madison. Not Madison Walker.
Emma Chrisman.
Emma Chrisman, sorry. Emma Chrisman with a great, able to turn her body, get that ground ball, and get the throw over to McMurtry for the second out of this inning.
Solid defense by the left side of the Bruin infield. First by Short on the previous play, and then on that one by Chrisman. Going to her knees to make the backhanded stab and a perfect throw on time.
2 outs here, and that first pitch can be a bit outside. 1 ball and no strikes for this at-bat. That one's going to be hit left center field, going back to the warning track, and it's going to be caught by Layla Fiskus as she gets her second fly out there and during this game. And no hits, no runs, no runners left on for Carroll as the Bruins take a 1-0 lead going to the bottom of the 6th.
We said both these teams were good on defense. The Bruins sparkling in that half inning with 2 nice plays on the left side of the infield and also by Fiskus to get deep to make the catch to retire the side. The Bruins will be looking for some insurance in the bottom of the 6th as they send up the 9-1-2 part of their order.
And I think a big thing in this first game of this doubleheader is Brooke Thompson hasn't been able to get anything going. Just flying out there one of the better hitters for Carroll. The Bruins have done a really good job against her defensively. And the way she hit that one, you know, you could easily 9 times out of 10, if that's hit to like left or right field, that's a home run. But the wind here maybe pushing that one a little bit back and just got to the warning track. And the Bruins continuing their impressive defensive performance.
Bertolini, Unverzat, and Brown, the first 3 scheduled hitters for the Bruins as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning.
Bellevue Bruins trying to get some insurance runs here in the bottom of the 6th to try and get the win in the top. Carly Bertolini's 0-1 on the day where she grounded out to third base her first time up to bat. The first pitch is going to be a bit high for ball number 1. Carly Bertolini, and a freshman out of Papillion, Nebraska, so another local player for the Bruins. Here's the 1-0. Renner also looking to try and have a complete game here. That pitch is going to be a bit high for 2-1.
Kennedy Venner has started 8 games prior to today. She has 4 complete in that one. Today, her 9th start.
Here's the 2-1. And try to do a nice change up there, but just missing the strike zone for ball number 3. And Bertolini has a hitter's count.
Venner with 4 wins on the year. That's top for the Fighting Saints.
See what Carly does here with this count. And going to let that one go, see what she's working with, making it full count here.
On the outside, Black.
Venner with the full count pitch. And that one's going to be hit and fouled off down the first base line. .516 here in Bellevue, Nebraska. Second game of this doubleheader will be approximately 6 o'clock. Here's the full count. And that one's going to be fouled off over the Carroll dugout.
Nice job just staying alive on that one, getting the end of the bat out to foul it out of play.
Good battle here between the two pitchers in this ball game. Venner trying to get her first out of the inning here. Here's the 3-2. That one's going to be low, and it's going to be a walk. As again, the Bruins with a leadoff walk for the 3rd time in this game. Bertolini gets on first.
And we'll probably have a pinch runner coming in here for Bertolini so she can rest on the bench.
Yeah. And it will be, Daniela Ramirez will be pinch running for Bertolini. Daniela, a freshman out of Millard North High School. Mariah Unverzat up to bat now, the leadoff batter today for the Bruins. So far, 0-2 on the day with a ground out to first in the first inning and a strikeout in the 3rd inning. And that first pitch is going to be a ball. It seemed like Ramirez was looking to maybe steal, but goes safely back to first here with no outs.
No steals on the year for Ramirez. As Unverzat squared the bunt, pulled it back as the pitch came in low.
Here's the 1-0. Maybe he was thinking of doing a bunt there and pulled back. Ramirez could have maybe gotten her first stolen base there with the catcher not getting that cleanly. But
Ramirez hampered by a sprained ankle earlier in the season, so maybe a little slower than she would like to be.
Here's the 2-0, and that one's going to be in the dirt again for 3-0 the count, and we'll see if Mariah Unverzat will let this one go or try again for the bunt to get Ramirez to second. And that one's going to be low, and another walk, back-to-back walks for Renner, as Unverzat and Ramirez are first and second. And now the player that you want up to bat now when you have a runner in scoring position is Marguerite Brown, one of the better hitters for the Bellevue Bruins. Hasn't been able to get a hit yet today, but you can maybe say that she is due here in the bottom of the sixth, where the Bruins are trying to get some insurance runs.
First a visit from one of the Carroll College assistant coaches, talking with his pitcher, catcher, and infielders. Hey, we gave the Fighting Saints coaches earlier on, but haven't yet given our nod to the Bellevue coaches. Michaela Samino in her 17th year at the helm of the program. Her assistant coaches are Kelly Cheshire and Jean Scarpello. Volunteer assistant coaches are Amy Supanchek and Savannah Gunn. Those ladies do a great job with this program. Let's see if we're going to have a pitching change or not, as now head coach Shauna Juarez comes out of the Fighting Saints dugout. And she signals, so it looks like we will have a pitching change. Just allowing the pitcher a couple of extra tosses down to the bullpen.
And I believe number 16. Yes.
You are correct, Jake.
McKinley Ermshaw will be coming in to pitch here in the bottom of the sixth. McKinley so far in the season has a 5.92 ERA with a 1.6 win-to-loss ratio in her 11 appearances. She has started 7 games. .39 innings pitched, so second, just behind Kennedy Venner.
So Venner departs as the pitcher of record on the losing side. She's hoping her substitute Ermshaw can come in and set down the Bruins here, and the offense can kick it up in the top of the 7th inning. But for right now, the Bruins with something going. Again, it'll be a decision for Michaela Samino whether to bunt Brown, one of your top hitters, in fact, the top hitter, on the sacrifice, or let her swing away. A good position to be in, to have to make that decision.
I mean, bunting is something you could always maybe do here, but I think it would definitely be smart to have Marguerite Brown hit here. So far in the season, Marguerite Brown has 25 RBIs. So I think in a situation like this, you got to let Marguerite Brown just swing away, because I think your best chance of getting some insurance runs here is letting her try and get a couple runs in.
Brown with 25 runs batted in on the year. That's second only to Bree McMurtry for the team lead. Runners at first and second. Brown looking to swing all the way on that.
I think it'd be smart for Ermshaw here to, try and get some things outside. It seems like that's something that they've been trying to do with Brown today.
Ermshaw right on the outside edge with that first pitch.
That one's going to be ball right there, 1-1 the count.
So trying to stay outside.
No outs here in the bottom of the sixth. Runners on second and first for the Bruins.
Again, we see the Saints. Now the Saints outfield defense going to adjust a little bit, play more to pull as the pitch comes inside. So a good read by the outfielder to see the location set up and make the adjustment. So let's see if Brown can read that too. Now they're pretty much straight away.
Here's the 2-1 from Ermshaw. Now it's going to be swung on over to second. Going to try and get the double play over to first. Not in time.
Nice backhanded play by second baseman Ella Seaman to glove that one and get the middle out there. That ball was headed for center field and an RBI, but Seaman makes the play. Fielder's choice puts Brown at first. Ramirez advancing to third on the play. Now 1 out in the inning. Here's left fielder Leslie Egan.
Runners on the corner, 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. That was going to be outside. Bellevue Bruins trying to get some insurance runs here in the bottom of the 6th.
Infield playing in to try to cut down the run at the plate.
So far, Leslie Egan is 0-2 on the day with 2 strikeouts. And that was going to be swung on and missed for strike number 1, 1-1.
Egan does have 18 runs batted in on the year. The Anaheim, California native.
And that one's going to be outside again for ball number 2. Leslie Egan trying to help the Bruins here, get some extra pounding going in the top of the 7th, just with a 1-0 lead right now. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be outside again. 3-1 count for Egan.
There is an open base, so Ermshar does not have to groove one right here for Egan. But cleanup hitter Bree McMurtry on deck.
Marjorie Brown with no stolen base on the season, so once you're going to second, that was going to be fouled off. Hit just behind our press box here at Renner and Dennis Outdoor Sports Complex.
Egan trying to make contact, get something to the outfield. That should add another run for the Bruins if she can accomplish that.
That one's going to be hit, and it's going to be up in the air. And the first baseman is able to catch that one. Sammy Labrum able to get the second out of the inning.
And no advance by the base runners on that pop-up on the infield, so it'll be up to Bree McMurtry. McMurtry, the only run scored. She came home on that RBI by Savannah Short way back in the second inning. Just McMurtry, a team-leading 29 runs batted in.
And that first pitch is going to be outside against her. But a tough one there in the last at-bat. Because usually a fly ball with 1 out and a runner on third would usually be good, but not in the infield. So McMurtry trying to help out here and get another RBI to that tally on the season. Here's the 1-0. And nice bit of a changeup, but just a bit too high for McMurtry. Good eye by
Miranda
her.
Garcia on deck for the Bruins should McMurtry reach on a walk.
Here's the 2-0 from Ermstraw, and that one's going to be strike number 2. And 1, excuse me.
Two and one now in this battle between McKinley and Bree McMurtry.
Here's the 2-1. That one's going to be hit well into center field. But it looks like Carroll will be under it. Almost struggled with it was Katie Slater there, but able to catch it. So no runs. 2 runners left on base and no errors. But the Bellevue Bruins trying to wrap it up here in the top of the 7th with a 1-run lead here on the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network.
Nice job by McKinley Ermshar to come in and set the Bruins down. She faced a 2-on, no-out situation. Got the ground ball and a couple of pop-ups to retire the side. Heading to the 7th inning, Last Chance Hotel for the Carroll College Fighting Saints. Let's see if the Bruins can make that 1 run stand up.
Yes, Bellevue Bruins trying to improve to 17-15 on the season and 7-4 in the Frontier Conference. Bernalini still up on the mound here for the Bellevue Bruins, trying to have another complete game so far in this season. So far, she's been pretty impressive with 6 strikeouts so far in this game. Just coming off in the 6th, a 1-2-3 inning.
Good support from some of the athletes from other Bellevue sports. Some of the guys from the baseball squad wandered over after practice finished up. We've seen guys from the men's basketball squad, some of the women from the women's basketball squad, volleyball players as well. So soccer as well. Here we go. Top of the 7th.
Carly Smith up to bat here for the Fighting Saints. Trying to lead a last inning rally for the Fighting Saints. And that first is going to be hit over to short, over to McMurtry at first to retire the first batter of this inning.
Again, a nice play by Emma Chrisman, filling in at shortstop today. Has done a nice job in all the opportunities that have come her way.
Chrisman's had a few impressive plays out there at short. And that's going to be hit, and it's going to be a foul ball just down the third base line. Savannah Short wasn't able to reach it there. Madison Walker sacrificed bunt in the 2nd inning and then hit over to Garcia for a ground out in the 4th. 0-1 here with 1 out. Here's a pitch from Bertolini, and that one's going to be inside for a ball.
4 assists on the day for shortstop Emma Chrisman. A couple of them routine and a couple of them highlight reel plays.
Here's the 1-1. That one's going to be hit well but fouled down the right field line. Bellevue Bruins just holding on by a string here with a 1-run lead, but so far it's been an extremely impressive day defensively for them. The Bellevue Bruins coming in with about .960 fielding percentage. They've only continued that today with no errors. Here's the 1-2, and that one's going to be outside. Not a bad pitch, trying to have Walker try to reach for that one, but it can be ball number 2.
6 strikeouts for Carly Bertolini. The rest of the defensive work by her teammates.
Here's the 2-2, and that was going to be hit well. Garcia not able to reach for it. Unversat's able to get it there, but it's going to be a 1-out single for Madison Walker. An inning where Carroll desperately needed it. They get their 4th hit of the game.
And again, a visit by Coach Shauna Juarez with the home plate umpire. Let's see where they're going to make the change. Madison Walker looking into the dugout like she's expecting a pinch runner.
And it looks like they will. Taking off a hoodie is number 12 for Carroll, Lily Main. And she will go out there as Lily Main, a freshman out of Spokane, Washington, will be the pinch runner. So going to try to get that runner on second.
Fighting Saints have left 5 runners on base in today's game. Maine represents the tying run, and Taylor Sayers at the plate, the go-ahead run.
Taylor Sayers, 2-2 on the day so far with 2 singles, so could be needed here. First pitch by Bertolini is outside for ball number 1.
Sayers with no home runs on the year. But 2 for 2 on the day.
Here's the 1-0. That one's going to be a nice pitch there for a strike, trying to get Maine out at first, not in time.
Nice pick by McMurtry. Good hustle by Unversat in the right field area, backing up the play in case it got by.
Here's the 1-1. Bertolini trying to get a win here today. That one's going to be hit out to left field, and what a catch catch there by Leslie Egan. How about that? That could have maybe scored that run from first, but Leslie Egan able to run over there in left center field, put her glove up with a fantastic catch for the 2nd out of this inning.
Add left fielder Leslie Egan now to the players on the left side of the Bruins defense that have made outstanding plays today. That took away extra bases and a chance to tie.
2 outs here. Burnley here with the pitch. That one's going to be a bit outside.
Ellis Seaman, the second baseman, 0 for 2 today.
1-0, but Seaman's been in clutch situations. Here's the pitch. Now it's going to hit over to Savannah Short. Able to stop it. The throw over to McMurtry is in time, and the Bellevue Bruins are able to get their 17th win of the season with an impressive defensive showing. 1-0. And how about that catch again from Leslie Egan, pretty much saving this game from maybe being tied. And the Bellevue Bruins win the first game of this doubleheader 1-0. Kennedy Venner will take the loss today, and Carly Bertolini with a complete game will take the win. Who are some of the players that really stood out for you in this first game of this doubleheader, Mick?
Well, let's salute the defense first. This game comes to an end appropriately on an outstanding defensive play by Savannah Short at third base. She made at least 3 great plays today. The shortstop Emma Chrisman made a couple of great plays. And out in left field, Leslie Egan with that game-saving grab on the run towards the left center field gap. Tip of the cap, Savannah Short, not only with the glove today, but also with the bat. Her RBI double accounted for the only run of the game. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors for the Bellevue Bruins. No runs on 4 hits and no errors for the Carroll College Fighting Saints.
The Bellevue Bruins were improved to 17-15 on this season and 7-4 in the Frontier Conference. Carroll will fall to 8-11 and 3-6 in conference play, but this is only 1 game of a 4-game series, and a lot can happen. And the Bellevue Bruins are able to take game 1 here. And I will not be calling the second game here. Mick Krupski will be calling the second game here at the Renner Dennis Outdoor Sports Complex. But the Bellevue Bruins are able to win this one 1-0.
And looking down at the home plate area, we have a special recognition ceremony today for Bellevue assistant coach Amy Supich. She's being honored today for her great work as a teacher in the Ralston Public School systems. She was recognized by Ralston and educational associations for her work.
Always cool to honor teachers. Teachers are, you're a former teacher, Mick, so you can understand that teaching is just one of the most important things in, you know, in our lifetimes. You'll remember our teachers and stuff, so really cool to honor that.
Amy was recently named the Ralston Middle School Heart of Learning Award winner. She also serves as a Hope Squad advisor in addition to her teaching duties, a team leader, and has spearheaded initiatives like revamping the school's rooms to better serve her colleagues and community. So Amy Supanchik, Bellevue assistant coach, kudos to your work on the softball diamond and also in the classroom at Ralston Public Schools.
So a really cool honoree right there. And like I was just saying, Mick, you're a teacher, so you understand it and everything. So cool to end that off after the Bellevue Bruins are able to get a win here in the first game of the doubleheader. Again, the Bellevue Bruins with a 1-0 win to improve in 17-15 on this season. I'm Jake Janicek. Mick Krupski will take you through Game 2. You've been listening to the Bellevue Bruins Sports Network.